Welcome back, everyone, to another sensational podcast with MYB. In today's session, by looking at the title, by looking at the podcast, by looking at the cover, you guys have the privilege of sight. So, first of all, be appreciative, be grateful that you actually alive. You actually wake up this morning. You actually have a bed to sleep in. You actually have a roof over your head. Be appreciative that you're breathing right now. Be appreciative that you could walk. Be appreciative for all the small things that you guys don't really be appreciative for. You guys so caught up in wanting more, wanting more, wanting more, but never be satisfied with what you have. You see, people, be appreciative for what you have, and then expect God. Don't expect that from God, but at least He will know that you're appreciative that what He already give you. Don't be so caught up in the future. Don't be so caught up in tomorrow. Even though inflation high tomorrow, be caught up in now. You see, people, enjoy the moment now. So that being said, people, in today's session, we're gonna cover why renting is becoming a trap in 2025 going into 2026. It's a secret advantage of real estate in high inflation and the biggest mistake first time home buyers make when it comes to real estate, and how to start with little or zero money. Everyone thinks you need to have a lot of capital when it comes to real estate, but if you think about it, right, listen to what I'm going to tell you guys, right? If you think about real estate in 2026, right, might feel like the worst time to start. Prices are high, interest rates are annoying, and everyone on social media is yelling buy. If you think about it, right, people, the world is keep climbing. There's no more land on earth, right? So interest rate right now may seem high, but in reality, it's low. The reason why I say it's low because we going into an AI boom. We're going into the economy by itself is booming, right? What happened in the past is in the past. We're in a new generation. It's like when you're trading, we have different type of strategy. We have a breakout structure. We have a six line. We have order blocks. Same with real estate. What happened back then was a different folder. Now we're in a whole new folder of the economy. It's gonna boom or it's gonna crash. But eventually, like I said, it's no more land. It's gonna keep booming, right? So here's the truth nobody wants to tell you, right? You may think inflation right now it's high, but in reality, it's low because 5, 10 years from now, it's gonna be a high number. For example, again, look at the debt cycle. Debt cycle is 35 trillion, right? 10 years before that, it was at 18 trillion, 10 trillion, and eventually the number keep going high. 10 years into the future, that 35 trillion is going to be 55 trillion, right? And you guys can be like, oh my God, 55 trillion. But reality, when it was at 35 trillion, you guys were saying, oh my God, 35 trillion. Same with interest rate now. Inflation is high now, but in reality, this is low. So this is one of the greatest game to well play for the opportunity of your lifetime, right? If you understand how the system works. So today I'm just gonna break it down regardless, because like I said, first we're gonna talk about why renting is becoming a trap in 2025, right? Think about it, people. It's a secret advantage of real estate in high inflation. Think about it, people. Use your brain now, right? The biggest mistake first time buyers make in 2025. Think about it, people, on how to start real estate with little to no down money, right? Think about it, people, right? When it comes to real estate, right? Now let me put everything together in one, right? How to get started in real estate with no money, right? Everyone wanna say first you buy a property. Okay? We know that buy a property, but that's not the point. I'm asking you how to start in real estate, not just buy a property. I need the money first to buy the property. Well, that's what I'm telling you right now. First thing you need to do if you don't want to deal with your family, because we all know the saying, don't get into business with your family. Or you can go ask a pay-to-pay lender. He can lend you maybe $10,000, 20, $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, whatever. Or if you want to do it on your loan with your solitude pad and your isolation pad as a start, you have to go something called wholesaling, right? Wholesaling allow you to be the middleman. Wholesaling is like the bank, right? You will become the bank. The reason for wholesaling, you have to do a lot of cold calls, a lot of emails, a lot of door knocking. Pretty much what wholesaling is in short term, you going out, you taking yourself now. Either you're walking around the community, driving around the community, take a pen, take a pencil, take a notebook, and you write down houses are for sale, or like I said, you door knock and ask people if they want to sell their house. So let's say boom, you get 1 or 2 customers who willing to sell their house. Boom, you take that information and you go find you someone who want to buy that house, right? So now you find a buyer. So now you go call up some renters or who are millionaires, like I said, people who want to buy a house. You take this deal to them and you show them. Now, let's say, for example, they want to buy the house. So now the house you find, let's say it's worth 100,000, right? And you take this house to a buyer, and the buyer buy the house maybe for 90,000, right? He buy the house for 90,000. He give you maybe $10,000 because you find a property for him, right? So now, boom, you have $10,000. Now, the only reason why you was able to get that $10,000 or $20,000, it was because something called wholesaling. You became the middleman. So that's the first way to start real estate with zero money, right? I gave you guys a source how to start investing with zero money, and this is the source of how to start real estate with zero money. You have to be the wholesaling, and regardless of wholesaling, you're the middleman. You're gonna profit from it regardless, because you're not putting in no money. All you're putting in is your time, right? So if you think about it, right now, after we secure the $10,000, now this is where the fun start into the home hacking, right? So house hack code, you could damn near buy a property, live in one unit, or rent the other one, right? Your tenants pay your mortgage and you live almost free, people. Think about it, people. And then we got the FHA loans, right? If you're a first-time home buyers, you can put down, let's say, maybe 3.5% down payment, and it all goes down to credit now. Don't just walk into the bank and ask to get a house without knowing your credit, right? Pay off all of your bills first. If you're in debt, pay off all of your bills first before you go and get you a mortgage. Because I'm gonna talk about this in the video, because when it comes to mortgage, right, if you have maybe like 2 to 3 points of you miss a payment or whatever, could affect your credit, your mortgage payment by 30,000 or 40,000 just by you being a point off. So think about it, people, right? Flexible credit requirement, right? You can use this shit in duplex, triplex, and even fourplex, right? You can live in one unit and rent the other. We all know when it comes to that. And also, you guys could even get the Airbnb situation, right? Airbnb is simple. You don't even need to own the property. You rent it from a landlord, you refurnish it, and you list it on Airbnb. For example, look at this right here as my house, right? This is my house right there. I'm charging you $1,000. So you're giving me $1,000 to live here. So every $1,000 every month, you're giving me $1,000. Boom, $1,000 come in my pocket here, right? But now you own this for a month. All you can do is fix it up or keep it the same way and just rent it out because it's in a good location. Tourists is here, whatever. Every week or whatever, you can charge someone $500, $300, $450 to live here just for a week. And by a month come, you can make maybe $4,000 back. So you could 3x your money and just pay me $1,000. So that's like the Airbnb hack right there by itself, right? So like we always said, now buy in the cheapest market, right? You don't need to live where you invest. You can buy in the Middle East, in South Africa, in the small cities, in low-cost cities, sometimes for 120. See, 120 is expensive, 150 is expensive, 180 is expensive, right? Because like I said, bro, I just said, you guys don't have to be concerned about buying real estate in just America, bro. Real estate by itself is real estate. The only thing about buying houses in America, the money worth more, because in some country, let's say in the Middle East, like in South Africa, you can get you, and even in Taiwan and shit, you can get you houses for like 80,000 and shit. But 80,000 in that particular country money is nothing compared to 80,000 in America. So yes, if you want to have house overseas too, that's comes with the benefit and disadvantage of the situation too, right? But at least as long as you have the real estate, it's going to always produce cash flow, and that's the game we're in. Positive cash flow, positive cash cow. Or let me tell you guys, you can either do a family member, or you guys can do the partner with someone, right? If you don't have money, you can credit, experience, partner with someone who does. You bring the hustle, they bring the capital, split equity, everyone win. In reality, not really everyone win, the cooperation win. Because for example, you're doing this alone, right? Remember I tell you guys when I started the video, you make a $10,000, right? So you take a $10,000, you put it down on a 3% loan, 3.5% loan. You put it down, you put down maybe a $5,000 deposit. The bank may give you 15,000, 25,000, whatever, depends on your credit score, and you rent it out. You profit off, and let's say they pay you hypothetically $800 a month, right? In a year span, you're collecting all this dough, right? But if you partner with like 5 people, 6 people, 3 people, 4 people, This year money now, it have to split between 8 people or 5 people. So now end of the year, you might just collect $300 from the property. That with the property is doing good, but because there's so much people tied up into the deal, you're not really making profit off it. You see what I'm saying, people? So it's not really about partnering with a lot of people. You can do this shit alone. You don't really need no mentor and shit, bro, right? As long as you have the wisdom and the knowledge, it will be good to partner with like at least 1 or 2 person. But like I said, the more person you partner with it, the cooperation will profit, yes, but you by yourself will not profit because you're splitting the paycheck with more people, right? So think about it, right? The biggest mistake first time buyers make in 2026, right? Let's talk about this because a lot of people guys just jump into real estate and don't understand, or you guys scared to jump into real estate. So think about it, right? Because real estate isn't hard. People just make the same dumb mistake because nobody taught them the game. But I'm here to teach you the game, right? Searching for home before checking the credit, right? Credit determines your rate. Your credit determines your payment. A 1% difference can cause you over 50,000 in extra interest, right? Remember I just told you guys 10 minutes ago, like check your credit before you go down to look for a home because you don't want to go there with no bad credit. They're gonna take advantage of you knowing you have bad credit. They got because it's the bank. You're going to the bank. If anything, like I said, avoid going to the bank. You rather off go to a pay lending because the bank is gonna win, right? The bank don't lose, bro. The bank is gonna win. Even if they fail, they're gonna get bailed out. So the bank is gonna take high risk to high reward every time, and you don't really blame them. So mistake number 2 is what? Thinking they need a huge down payment, right? So like I said, bro, thinking you guys need a huge down payment, right? You don't need no 20%. That's a myth. FHA, conventional loans, first time home buyers program. Some people buy home with 3%, 5%, even 0 down payment. Sometimes if your family is in the army and shit, depending on the location, everything is gonna smooth. That's one thing about real estate too. I wish the word location was here because location tie a very important role with real estate. You can have a shitty house in a good location because the location have value, right? And value is what people perceive it to be. And then someone could come and appraise the comp, and because the other area's house is worth maybe 600,000, your house just magically worth maybe 500,000 just because you're in a good location, right? So a mistake number 3 is what? Buying the most expensive home they qualify for. Yes, you have good credit score, right? Yes, you could buy a house for 300,000, right? So check it out. Bank approve you based on your income, not your goals. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should, right? Leave room for repairs, savings, emergency. Because if you think about it, right, like I said, when you have good credit score, the bank is gonna approve you. So yes, you approve and they give you a shit ton of money, but that doesn't mean you gotta take that 300,000, 200,000 and put it into one house, right? You can take that 200,000, 300,000 and put it into 20 houses, right? By you putting a small down payment on a 3.5% loan. Even that's the first time home buyer, then you can move up to probably a 10%. But at least that 200,000, 300,000 working for at least 5 to 6 homes, not just put it in one big home. Simply, people, because it's not about having one house, it's about having multiple houses that produce you cash flow. Because it's also a saying, if you have one door, don't rent it, live in it, because one door relying on one tenant, right? So if you have one house, that's why people like to do units, apartment, is just multiple doors. My preference is single family, 3 bedroom, 2 bed, lease to own, because I don't have to deal with the maintenance, property managers, because the tenants are paying to live there. They planning to live there in the long time. They planning to own this house. They don't have to deal with no bank. They come straight to deal with me. And that's what we can talk about. Not thinking long term, right? Like I said, your first home isn't your dream house. It's a stepping stone, right? Look at your first house as you guys' first girlfriend, right? When you guys had that first girlfriend or that first boyfriend, you guys think, oh my God, this is the one. I'm going to marry to her. You guys plan the kid's name, the kid's college, where you're going to go. Next 2 years later, she's sleeping with someone else. You're cracking someone else. That's like with the house. You're just there for a temporary term. That's just your term. That's not your future. That's not your forever. There's just your time there, right? So the secret advantage of real estate in high inflation now. This how you guys get affected. This how the tenants get affected drastically in high inflation, and how the big boys profit from real estate. Check this out, right? Now let's talk about inflation, because here's the biggest secret is a wealthy know. Real estate love inflation. Let me explain. Number 1, Inflation destroy cash. Every year the dollar buy less. Grocery price go up, gas go up, but right now gas at the lowest, so we can't complain there. Everything goes up except your savings, but right, you got inflation going up, your rent going up, your grocery going up, your gas going up, the food going up, but your wages not going up. What I mean by your wages, your salary, your paycheck you get every month from your job. You're going to your job, you're slaving, you're working hard to say, master, I'm working hard, I want, give me a promotion, give me a job. Fun fact about you getting a job and shit, they control your salary, they control how much you make. And when you get like over 62 and try to take out like a social security, if you even get a raise, if your job promotes you or give you a raise, they're gonna deduct that shit from your social. So they already taking your social, your tax you every month for no reason, because some countries don't even tax you. They just let you keep your bread, and when you get older you suffer. But United States want to at least tax you and give you back a social whatever, but they're taxing you and putting that money back into real estate for them. Because realistically, all those people who died from COVID was people who was in the tax benefit bracket, who was supposed to be collecting the bracket, was elderly people. And what happened? They died. Their money went. Just go back to the bank. Because think about it, people, the bank is not your friend, right? The bank is out for themselves, because like I said, bro, when the bank fail, they're gonna get bailed out regardless. So check us out. A fixed mortgage is your cheat code, right? If you lock in a 30-year mortgage, your monthly payment never change. So why is rent goes up every year, your mortgage stays still. Inflation make everything more expensive except your payment. That means every year paying your mortgage get easier. The reason why I have 30-year mortgage, because I'm thinking like an investor. I'm not thinking like a consumer. I'm not thinking like an owner. I'm thinking like an investor / control, right? Why would I rush to pay off my mortgage in a 15-year span or 10-year span or 5-year span, but I have to pay more upfront to just own a house? Why do I want to own it when I could just keep paying it for 30 years and then take that money and put it back into 10 houses, right? So yes, you can pay your home off in probably 5 to 6 years, but that's just one house, right? Instead, pay it off for 30 years, and in that 30-year span you could actually have maybe 15 houses, right? So now for that same 30-year mortgage payment, you're still paying it off slowly, but now you have 15 houses, bro. 10 house, how much you want to pay, right? And let's talk about this one now. Inflation pay your debt for you. Check this out, right? This is the part millionaires and billionaires love. As inflation grows, the real value of your debt shrinks, right? You borrow expensive dollars and you pay them back with cheaper dollar. One thing about money from Nixon take the United States of the gold standard, the dollar is just floating, nothing back the dollar. Just like Bitcoin, nothing back Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying, people? It's how you perceive it and how you use it that really gonna change the game, right? So your property rise. This here is the fun part about real estate now in inflation. Your property rise, your debt shrink, right? Assets goes up, loan get easier, cash flow improve, network shrink. This is why the wealthy buy during inflation while everyone else suffer. Because if you think about it, right, inflation hurts the renters, inflation rewards the owner. Now listen to what I just said. I just said two important things that cover the entire scenario of real estate, right? Inflation hurts the renters. How does it hurt the renter? This is how it hurt the renters, right? When you guys renting a house and inflation goes up, the tenants, right, the owner is gonna call you and tell you, hey, because interest rate is low, we gotta charge you. Instead, usually you was paying us $500 a month. Now, because inflation got up, we gotta charge you $650 just because inflation got up, right? So the tenants now have to go back to the job or get another job or ask their boss for a raise, because inflation go up, the tenants have to pay, instead of $500, they have to pay $650 to live in that same house, right? So now you guys are paying me $500 here monthly. Now inflation go up, you guys paying me $650 to live in the same exact house, right? And like I said, that's how inflation rewards the owner, because high inflation is better for me. And who profit from this the most? The tenant. So that's why, are you guys really living in real estate, or are you guys owning it? Because in reality, why renting is becoming a trap in 2025, 2026. That is why it is becoming a trap, because what I just said 2 seconds ago, especially in high inflation, because inflation is only going to get higher and higher and higher. So your rent is gonna always keep going up, right? So now you thinking, or you thinking right now you're barely surviving. You guys soon will become homeless. And the only way to actually rebuttal against the system is if you can't pay your mortgage, you can't pay your rent, your tenant. Because look at this right here. The only another person saving, right? Like Dalio said, if everyone save, the economy wouldn't go nowhere, right? Because why? Listen to what I'm about to say, people, right? Someone say another person spending is someone income, right? So if this person spend, let's say this person right here, he own a shoe factory, he producing shoes, right? But for him to open this store, he went to this bank here and asked them for a loan, right? He asked him for a loan because he had good credit. So the bank gave him a $300,000 loan. Boom, he get his loans. Now he opened his store. He opened his shoe store because of the money he borrowed from the bank, which is here, right? But now you, on the other hand, you want to save because you don't know when is the right time to buy. You think right now inflation is high, so you're going to save. But right now inflation is low. You're gonna save. So while you're saving, this dude, he have no customers, right? So now he's gonna fall into debt. Because you save, because it's saying another person spending is someone income. Now he's gonna go into debt because he can't pay back the bank, and the bank is gonna come and seize his shop, right? So the only way to fix this is if another person go into debt to buy more stuff, and every person spending. Like productivity is a saying, if you think about it, right? Don't have debt rise faster than income, right? Don't have income rise faster than productivity. Do all that you can do to raise your productivity, right? But end of the day, people, if you save your money, the economy will not grow. Because look around, rent is getting higher. We even see people talk about it, right? 1800 for a basic one bedroom, $250 for a something average, or even 3,000, right? 1800, 2500, 3300, right? Those prices is just gonna keep going up. Soon you're gonna be paying 3,200 for a one bedroom because inflation is gonna keep going up, right? So like I said, bro, rent never stop rising, bro. Your landlord could raise the price every year based on inflation is real, right? Costs go up and demands keep climbing. Your income doesn't rise as fast as rent. That means every year you're actually getting poorer. This is what I say, people. You're working the same job, but your wages is not going up. Your boss is gonna pull up to your job with a jet, with a Lamborghini, with a car, to tell you it's no bonuses because they profit off it more while you keep suffering. And if you quit your job, if you get fired, you can't pay your house, right? Best case scenario, you don't pay your house, you become homeless. But as long as you homeless, I can have to suffer because now I have a one door, I have no tenant in my house, right? Then I'm gonna file for bankruptcy, then the whole system fail, right? Because you think about the people, right? Renting over flexibility, not well, right? You can cancel a lease, switch cities, move fast, cool. But renting building zero ownership, zero long-term value, zero leverage. Your best case scenario is you paying rent, doing a rent to own strategy. Because like I said, look at this house right here and look at this as a toilet bowl, right? So now this is your house. You're paying me $500 just to live here, rent every month. So $500, you're just flushing down the toilet drain. Every month, just gone. But now if you do a rent to own, this $500 is gonna help you own this house eventually. So now that $500 is not going in the toilet bowl, it's going back into the property that you're gonna own in maybe 5 to 10 years, because you're not dealing with no bank, you're dealing straight with the pay to pay, you're dealing straight with me, right? So think about it, right? The longer you rent, the further you fall behind, because every year you don't own an asset during inflation. It's like swimming against the current that keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, right? With the current, it's called inflation. Inflation is going to get higher and higher and higher because the economy is doing good. AI is here. Even if we crash, inflation is still gonna go back up, right? It may come back down for a short period of time, but the longevity of time is gonna keep going up, right? So renting is not evil, but renting long term is a wealthy trap, right? Rich people rent by choice. The poor rent forever, right? The middle class rent because they don't have control of the system and they don't understand it, because it's fine. You don't learn what I'm telling you guys. You don't learn this in school. which is fine. You guys don't deserve to learn it because you're a zero hypocrite, right? You deserve to suffer. Because if you think about it, right? If you got value from this video, I don't care. Real estate is not about timing the market, right? It's about being in the market, right? Renting is temporary. Owning slash controlling is forever. Inflation can destroy you or it can make you wealthier, depending on whether you own assets or not, right? And check this out, people. And if you don't need, listen, people, you do not need to start big. You just need to start. Like, I give you guys a cheat code how to actually start into real estate. Wholesaling is the jackpot. So if you guys can't even take the time out to do wholesaling, that means you're not serious about yourself. Because like I said, all you got to do is just walk around your community, put some gas in your car or drive around, or just walk, take a pen and paper and write down houses, make the phone call, hang up. But it's fine. You got to go through a process because you have to start somewhere. Or like I said, you can just borrow from your family. Because whether you like it or not, bro, house hacking, FSHA loan, all of this shit works, right? No matter what you do in real estate, it works. You guys have to actually take the time out to be into the game because that's where the wealth starts. In real estate is the ultimate cash flow because trading, the stock market is one part of it. Stock market only pay you like 10% per year, maybe more, maybe less. Most of the time it's going to be less. Real estate, that gives you 25%. You know the difference? The difference from real estate and stock market is a way different. You know what I'm saying, people? And the stock market, you have to probably make some trades. You have to, because the stock market can crash in a day, lose its value in a day. Real estate will not drop in a day. You know what I'm saying, people? Real estate might drop once in every 10 years, every 20 years. Stock market could drop every week. So think about it, people. Start now, invest in yourself, and only you to blame. Mind your business.